My name's Emily O'Brien. I'm 30 years old and I just got out of federal prison. I was in prison for 10 months, and I served 4 years for importing narcotics into Canada. When I went to prison, I kind of knew what to expect, but again, it's prison, so you still have to be very, very careful and you still got to watch your back. But my first 2 weeks, at federal prison, were they were fine. You're sent to a house, and on your first day, you're basically strip searched, and then you're given 2 bags of stuff. So you got sweatpants, shorts, you got 6 pairs of underwear, 6 pairs of socks, t-shirts, a couple sweatshirts. It's all gray, and a fan. Not for me, actually. I didn't get a fan, but just stuff for your room, like toothbrush, toothpaste, hygiene stuff. And then once you have these 2 bags, they're like, okay, off you go to your house. And then I honestly was feeling like Jesus, when he was about to get crucified, because I was dragging these bags that were so full. Everyone is peering out their houses, looking at you, and I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna get jumped? What's going on? And then as I go up to that door of the house, a girl opens it for me. She's like, oh, we knew we'd be getting a new person today, and this was just so friendly. And they're like, she's like, here's your room, and I'm gonna show you around. And it was very warm welcome. And then as the time went on, I met the other people in the house, and I met people that lived in other houses as you're walking around, because it's a pretty big property, and it's kind of like a college campus, minus the fact that you can't leave. It's obviously there's some heated moments for sure, just within the house, and there's frying pans and pots being waved, and things can escalate pretty fast. But I was never directly involved in anything violent. The most difficult part about prison was visits, I think, because it's a very rigorous visiting process. And then the CSC administration, I'm sorry, but it needs a lot of work. It's very disorganized. It's very archaic in terms of how you can book your visit. And then they have these security measures that aren't accurate. They have an ion scanner that scans your clothes, and it can ring off for anything. Even if that substance isn't actually illegal, it'll say it is. So there's a whole bunch of controversy going on around that. And then my relationship fell apart when I was in there, and that was hard. And my friends were denied a couple times. So whenever I had visits booked, and you had to arrive right on time, and the visits started at 5:30 on a Thursday and Friday night, and so it's right off the 401. And so this is a very major highway in Toronto that's always slow. So if you're 15 minutes late, and even if you drive from 2 hours, you're not getting in. So there's so much uncertainty around whether I was going to have a visit or not, if I was actually going to get to see my loved ones. So it was stressful for sure. When I got to prison, I knew how lucky I was. Even before I went to prison, I knew how lucky I was to be able to afford a lawyer. I still owe my parents money, but for my parents to be able to put up that money for me, and to want to put up that money for me. A lot of people are estranged from their families and don't have good relationships. My mom was willing to let me live in her house again. And then when I went, my family lives about an hour away from the prison, so they were able to come see me all the time. And again, a lot of families don't have access to a car all the time, or they don't have access to money to come see them, or they don't have enough money to send in to their loved one so their loved one can call them on the phone. And that's when I was oh my God, I'm so lucky to be here. You know what I mean? To have this, and my family was so instrumental. So that's why seeing how hard it was for people who didn't have that, who just wanted to do better, who want to see their kids again, but were struggling and to find resources to do it. I was oh my gosh, I have to help these people, because they have so much talent. It's so much good intentions, and they just wanted a second chance, and I think everyone deserves that. Every woman in there that I met was so different and so unique, because everyone has their own story, and going to prison is a pretty traumatic thing. So a lot of these women had experienced trauma prior to that, and some of them were more social than others. Some of them just stayed in their room. Some of them got involved in the drug subculture. And then there was me, who was just I'm going to go to every program and do every craft and join everything and go to the gym. And there's people that went to there's exercise group, and there's definitely cliques. So then there was a group that always cooked together, and yeah. So I made a couple good friends in there, like because I was there for importing, and there was like a lot of other people in there for importing too, which is what I noticed, which was like one of the main reasons why I wanted to share my story, was because they were just kind of like me and made a couple of bad decisions, and now they're doing a hard time. But they're always nice, you know, very, very smart, wanted to do well, wanted to see their families again, had very supportive families. They're just regular people. They just crossed a line with drugs, you know? So it's I don't want to minimize the crime, but like, because obviously it's very serious and drugs do ruin people's lives. But they didn't like hurt anyone or attack anyone, and they never had a criminal record. So I was like, okay, there's a way there's something that I can do to make these people like redeem themselves and gain confidence again. So